Okay, welcome to Hanging Out with Bob, podcast hosted by me, Bob at Home. Thanks for joining us, and let's get started. Well, in our most recent podcast episode, my friend Tom Madigan and I talked about the Minnesota Golden Gopher football program during the Cal Stahl era, who was head coach at the U for 7 seasons from 1972 through 1978. And in this podcast episode, I'm happy to have as my guest one of the Gopher players from that Cal Stahl era. He's Ron Kullas, who wore jersey number 46 for the Gophers and caught passes, a lot of passes in fact, for the Maroon and Gold in the mid-1970s. Ron, welcome to Hanging Out with Bob.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Glad to be here.
We're happy you're here too, Ron. Now, full disclosure, listeners have heard me say in the past episodes that I grew up in the Minneapolis suburb of Columbia Heights. Well, guess what? Ron also grew up in the Heights. We both went to Columbia Heights High School. Ron is from the class of 1973, 2 years after I graduated in 1971, and we both attended the University of Minnesota. Ron and I have known each other since at least junior high school, the late great Columbia Junior High School, which was located on 41st Avenue, just off Central Avenue in the Heights. And while I may have graduated from high school a couple of years ahead of Ron, I certainly was aware of his athletic accomplishments in high school. He was a multi-year starter, a multi-year letter winner in football, basketball, and baseball. And there were some all-conference and all-metro honors to go along with that, right, Ron?
Yeah, good memory. It's a long time ago.
Yeah. I played a lot of softball games against Ron in the Heights Men's Slow Pitch Softball League in the mid-1970s. And just the fact that we both grew up in Columbia Heights, which is a relatively small suburb, geographically at least, it was only natural that we would see each other at different events in different places, like the annual Columbia Heights Jamboree and Parade, or fast food places like McDonald's, probably even Tasty Pizza. Still the best pizza in the world, in my humble opinion.
I agree 100%. Still go there today.
And here's a fun fact for our listeners. Ron Kullas and my brother, Dave at Home, not only share the same date of birth, November 3rd, 1954, but they were born at the same hospital, St. Barnabas, in South Minneapolis. And our mother shared the same hospital room after they had given birth. So a small world, right, Ron?
Yes, certainly is. Amazing.
Anyway, Ron is married. He and his wife, Patrice, live in suburban New Brighton. They have 2 grown daughters, Rachel and Gabby. Ron is retired after 25 years in sales and another 20 years or so in the gaming industry at Mystic Lake. In this podcast episode, we're going to have Ron tell us about the years that he played football with the Minnesota Golden Gophers in the mid-1970s. But before you do that, Ron, let's spend just a moment about your high school football years at Columbia Heights. You were the quarterback there as a senior, but you were also a defensive back, right?
Correct.
Okay. Tell us a little bit about your varsity seasons at the Heights, how you did, how the team did, and then what factors played into your decision to attend the University of Minnesota to play for the Gophers?
Well, first of all, the playing both ways at Columbia Heights was we had to because we were limited with the amount of players we had, right. And most of the guys played both defense and offense. Yeah. My junior year, we had 2 outstanding quarterbacks, won the conference and had an excellent season. And that year, I played defensive back and wide receiver. Mm-hmm. And my senior year, I switched to quarterback. Okay. And we had, limited success, I'd say. The way my path to the University of Minnesota is somewhat interesting in that I was a late entry as far as my scholarship. I was all set to go to the Air Force Academy. I had been out and visited, and that's where I was going to go and play football. And they recruited me as a defensive back. Wow. And late in the spring of 1973, Cal Stahl had Butch Nash. He's a legendary coach. Mm-hmm. Many people in Minnesota will remember Butch Nash. Right. He called me out of the blue. It was in the spring, and I was in school. Yeah. And he said, "How would you like to come over and watch spring practice? Cal would like to meet you." And I said, fine. I was a little bit shocked because I hadn't heard from the university since Murray Warmoth had been fired. So, and I went over and sat and watched spring practice, and in the stands with Cal Stahl next to me, and he turned to me and said, "Well, what do you think?" And I just I was a little bit
Yeah, what?
baffled. I
Yeah.
didn't exactly know what was happening. And he said, "Would you like to come here? Would you like to be part of this program?"
Play for the Gophers, yeah.
And I just looked at him and smiled and said, "Well, absolutely." And
Yeah.
I went home and, I remember telling my dad about the conversation. And we sat on the steps. I received a letter the next day. It was postmarked. I don't know how they do that, next day air.
Wow,
And
right.
it had the offer in it and everything. And we sat there and opened it up, and it was a full scholarship to the University of Minnesota. And my dad looked at me and said, "Well, what are you going to do?" And I said, "Well, it looks like I'm staying home." I mean, because I grew up listening to Ray Christensen on the radio like you did.
You were a
and-
Gopher
and
football fan like
from the
most
time
of us.
I was young.
Yeah,
So
what a dream.
the plans changed, and of course, my life took a different route
Yeah,
because
yeah.
I think things would have been different had I gone to the Air Force Academy and what I pursued as far as a career and everything.
Yeah.
That's how I
That's-
ended up
that's
there.
how you ended up
And,
there,
and,
okay.
yeah, interestingly enough, I went there as a defensive back, and after
Was that why you got
Yeah.
number 46?
That's correct.
Okay.
That is, yeah.
Because when I
40
looked that up, I thought, I think it'd be like 80 something or
Absolutely,
in the teens.
it's an
like that.
odd number for
Yeah,
a wide
yeah.
receiver, and
Yeah.
I think back in those days, I remember there was a tight end for the Oakland Raiders, Christensen or something was his name, and he was number 46.
Oh,
which,
okay,
Which is
okay.
now players wear anything.
Yeah,
they wear anything.
The zeros, I've seen that, and so thinking, whatever. Interesting. Okay.
So they switched me after 1 week of
Yeah.
practice, and
Yeah.
I switched over to the offensive side, which again is, as fate would have it, had I not switched, again, my life might have been different.
Right.
So,
So, and we'll definitely get into that as we go along. So, well, thanks for filling us in on how you decided to go to the U. And now let's talk about those 4 years that you were part of the Golden Gopher program. So, 1973, you're a freshman. That was the second season under head coach Cal Stahl. And for the record, the Gophers finished third in the Big Ten with a 6-2 record and finished 7-4 overall. The two Big Ten losses were against Ohio State and Michigan, both of which went 7-0-1 in the conference that year. They tied for the conference championship, in fact. And the Gophers' two non-conference losses were against Big 8 schools at the time, Kansas and Nebraska. Nebraska, of course, came to the Big Ten in 2011. Ron, talk about your freshman season with the Gophers, from the first day of practice till the last game of 1973, if you will, against Wisconsin. And what was your involvement with the team that year, as a freshman?
Sure. It's as a freshman, I was pretty much overwhelmed. Again, it was a surprise for me, and it all happened so fast that all of a sudden I was on campus, and we were in pre-fall, and you're at a place where we grew up just, in awe, actually, when you'd go to Gopher games. And
Yes.
so I was basically walking around, and just floating, just going, this is the greatest thing that could happen. And as a freshman, the opportunity to play right away, well, it was afforded to a few of our freshmen, one of them being Tony Dungy. He ended up starting later that year against Nebraska on his 18th birthday.
Really? Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
So it was quite and then we had a running back, Larry Powell.
Yep.
He played as a freshman, and another receiver who came in from Michigan, Mike Jones, who played on the other side of me. He played some games as a freshman, but it was limited opportunities, and I was squandering with the scout team,
Right.
playing a defensive back, and I did travel with the team and for the whole season because I was the holder for field goals
that
and
was
extra
your
points. Yeah.
every time there's a touchdown. you
Yeah,
have
so
it. Oh, wow.
and that was nice because
Yeah.
I felt a part of
Good.
the team,
Oh,
and a
yeah,
lot of
it's
times
an important job.
Yeah, freshmen don't, but
Yeah,
so I was traveling.
It was
and,
those good hands you had,
yeah,
right?
that's what they said. Yeah,
Yeah.
So and I had done that in high school football as well.
Okay.
Hold for the kickers.
Yep.
So I had that opportunity and felt like I was part of the team, but
Yeah.
really didn't start playing until the following year,
Right,
my
right,
sophomore year,
right.
when I started getting some opportunities. I did play 2 plays in my freshman year against Purdue when our single wide receiver went down with an injury, and
Oh.
I was next up and was in
Yeah.
on 2 plays. But other than that, I didn't play.
No
until I was
passes
a
thrown
sophomore.
to you. and
Not no
Not
I had
meant to.
no attempts or anything.
But then I think you mentioned before we got together that actually, well, you were holding every game, so that still would have affected redshirting, right? I mean, you could have.
Yes, correct. That's
Yeah.
a good point. Unfortunately, those 2 games or those snaps, it might have been 3, I can't remember,
Okay.
but those cost me, which was a strange rule in the Big Ten back then.
Mm-hmm.
If you played in any Big Ten games from snaps
Big
from
Ten.
scrimmage,
Okay.
that
would count?
constituted a no redshirt year.
Oh, okay.
Which they've obviously gotten much more lax on those rules now,
Right,
where guys can
right.
play half a season and they
Yeah,
still get redshirted
yeah.
if there are injuries and things. But
Yeah.
another year would have made a big difference in
Yep,
my future
yep.
because I would have had another year of
Yeah,
catching
yeah,
passes
yeah.
and things. So.
What was for you the biggest adjustment, most striking thing going from a North Suburban high school, Columbia Heights, and all of a sudden you're playing Big Ten football? Just the size of the players or just the skill that you saw? I mean, what things really struck you as a freshman?
Sure. That's a good question. And when you're playing in high school, and I did have success in 3 sports, and you just felt like, well, I can do all of this. And the biggest surprise to me was how everyone at the next level, and especially Division I, they've all had success in high schools.
Right.
They've all been all conference. They've all been all state, and they play many sports. And
Right.
when I really realized where I was is in the winter of my freshman year, we put together a basketball team that played at Williams Arena and intramural basketball.
Yeah.
And we were stacked with other than myself, and I was all conference for a few years at Columbia Heights
Yeah,
in basketball, but other than myself, the guys that were on the team were all state from the states they came from.
Wow.
In basketball.
Yeah, really.
And so we cruised through luckily we were there after Dave Winfield and that group that had put together
That's right.
an intramural team that was unbelievable. Guys that went on and played professionally. But
Yeah. Wow.
we had no problems. And I was just in awe of the guys because I thought, okay, football, you guys, you're good. And I could maybe stack up, but I'm going to show you something now in basketball because I kind of thought I was pretty good.
You were a good shooter too, right?
I don't know about that, but I took the shots.
Yeah.
But when I got in with those guys, it
Yeah.
was amazing because
how good they
everybody
were.
had skills. I mean, Tony Dungy ended
Yeah.
up playing
That's right.
basketball,
He was on the basketball
for the
team.
Gophers
Yeah.
his freshman
I
year.
remember that. What would you say was your biggest takeaway of that 73 season? If you were just to tell somebody in 50 words or less, what was it like as a freshman on the Gophers in 1973? What was your biggest takeaway?
Well, it was, other than being in awe pretty much for the beginning of it, it was just the overall speed and size of the guys compared to, in high school,
Yep.
that and the pageantry of going to other stadiums. I mean, I remember talking to my daughters when they were looking at schools and everything, and I said, Purdue University, I never had a thought of going there, but the campus is just beautiful and everything. And to play in what was known as the Big House, at Michigan or Ohio State, the Horseshoe, those things, and to be able to travel as a freshman and see different areas of the country. Now you're talking about a kid who had been on one airplane prior to that,
Right.
So I guess that would be the biggest thing is just the enormity of the situation
Such a
that I was
new
in.
experience.
Yeah.
Something different. Oh, that's cool. And you already answered the next question I had. I said, what did you do in the off season? You played basketball, obviously. And then was there kind of a semi-structured, like weightlifting protocol or something that you did, after the season ended?
Well, yeah, it's interesting. It was surprising to me of how we were always told, our Coach Stahl says, you're here for 3 reasons. He says, number 1, to get an education, number 2, to play football, and number 3, if there's any time left over for your social life. And he always made a point of some of the guys who maybe had that reversed.
Yeah.
But
priorities.
it was. I tell people all the time, when you're a scholarship athlete, it's pretty much a full-time deal. There is no off season, and you have to schedule your classes around that kind of thing. And a lot of times, depending on your major and everything, it's very difficult to do.
Right.
But the spring is football, obviously.
Yep.
In the winter, we had winter conditioning, so we conditioned. And then the small break you have in the summer, we still had a workout program and everything. And I can talk later about how
Yeah.
Tony and I used to get
Yeah.
together all the time, and
Yep.
he'd throw 100 balls to me a day. So
Now you didn't have that beautiful athletic village that's there now. Where did you go to lift weights? Was that at Cook Hall, or where'd you go?
this kind of will age me, but Bierman Building was relatively new then, and that's
Oh,
where
okay. Bierman, okay.
that's where we dressed and everything.
Okay.
The stadium. We had to walk to from
Yeah,
there over
yeah.
a bridge, which was over the railroad
I remember
tracks.
this, yeah.
And we practiced, or our weight room was at Bierman Building, and
Okay,
it was
right at Bierman.
simply
Okay.
new to me because I was allergic to weights. I never really did much weightlifting in high school,
Right,
but
right.
it was Nautilus, if you remember the
Oh,
Nautilus
yeah,
equipment.
Nautilus came out in the
Yes.
70s, yeah.
So, and they, again, in the winter, we had
That's what you did.
weightlifting.
Okay,
And
okay.
yeah, that was, but
Interesting.
the facilities, although they weren't like they are today,
Mm-hmm.
they were certainly more than what we had in high school.
I remember that weight room,
Yes.
quote unquote weight room at Heights. I remember that. So, okay, thanks. Okay, on to the 1974 season, your sophomore year. For the record, the Gophers struggled that season. They went 2-6 in the Big Ten, finished in a three-way tie for seventh, I believe it was, with Iowa and Northwestern, and they went 4-7 overall. Their two Big Ten wins were at home against Iowa and on the road at Purdue. And the Gophers also beat North Dakota and TCU, Texas Christian University, in non-conference games, both at home as well. And Ron, thanks to, I should say, sportsreference.com and the Minnesota Star-Tribune archives, which is really a great resource, I was able to find that you caught the first passes of your college career in your sophomore year with the Gophers. You caught two passes for 24 yards on October 5th, 1974, in a loss at Nebraska. Again, Star-Tribune has all this stuff. And then the next week, October 12th, 1974, you caught a pass for 17 yards in a loss at Indiana. Describe, if you will, the plays in which you caught those passes in both games, and how did those first catches, those first major college football catches, feel?
Well, exciting to be
Yeah.
frank with you. But before I talk about the catches, I'll have to say that one of the reasons we were 4-7 in my sophomore year is Tom Moore, who's an excellent football coach, still coaching in the NFL.
That's right, yeah.
By the way, he had left our team and went to what was then the new USFL or something, and he coached a team out in New York.
Oh, okay.
They asked him to come there.
Yeah, yeah.
So he left the Gophers, and we struggled because Tom Moore
Sure.
was a very innovator.
The
and
continuity was
yeah,
gone.
and he's the one who developed the passing game, which we later had. So our offense struggled mightily that
Yeah.
year, and that's one of the reasons why, as a wide receiver, there wasn't a lot of throwing going on, and our offense just wasn't geared for that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And when Tom Moore came back, then things changed. And
He came back?
He came back,
Okay.
certainly. Yeah, he was the architect of my junior and senior year, and
Okay. So he was only with the USFL for one season?
one season, and I don't know if the team was defunct or if he
Yeah.
just changed his mind and came back.
I get
But
those mixed up. There was also a World Football League.
That might have-
Was that the WFL? And then I thought USFL came a little
you
later.
may be right. They did call it
But
the
I remember that
WFL.
league. I
That's-
remember
yeah,
that league,
There were
so-
so many of them that
Yeah.
have come and gone. And,
Right, okay.
Yeah, and it may be that the league only made it 1 year. I don't even remember that.
Yeah, it wasn't
WFL.
around for long. Wasn't
But
around for long.
thankfully,
He came
Tom
back.
Tom Moore
Okay.
came back because
Wow, okay.
he made a huge difference in both Tony and I's career.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, wow. Okay, well, the 74 season, like I said, it was probably tough just to have a losing season, but what was the difference between, how did you feel as a freshman and then as a sophomore? What was the difference in your development? How did you feel that?
Well, I was getting more comfortable with being a college athlete than I was as a freshman, and
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
just finding my way. And as you know, you were over there. It's enough just to find your way to your classes.
yeah,
With
definitely.
the West Bank, you're going over there in the middle
Yep.
of the winter across that bridge and things like that. But I was much more comfortable
Yeah.
as far as the academics, and then that translated into being more comfortable with being a football player as
Sure,
well.
sure.
So just a growth, I guess.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
it was disappointing those season and everything, but I never had any doubts or questioned the fact, like, why did I choose here? This is not going well.
Right.
Unlike today, it's
Transfer portals.
with the portals and everything.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
we may have lost half the team after that
right,
year when
right.
Coach Moore left, and
It's really changed.
guys would have just left, but they didn't
Right.
do that back then, obviously.
What would you say, again, this is something I'll ask for each season, what was probably your biggest takeaway then of the 74 season then?
I can't. I can't think of a highlight. The season was that difficult, and it was when I started out as a freshman and we were 4-7. We expected to build on that.
You mean 7-4?
7-4, yeah. And we
yeah.
hope we hope the next year that maybe we can turn one of those losses or two of them into wins, and then
Right.
Well, one thing I would point out is that bowl games then there weren't a lot of them.
Right.
But and if we'd have finished even 8-3, we may have had a shot at a bowl game, and we kind of expected that, and so did Cal, and it was disappointing. I think we had a lot of injuries with some of our veterans and seniors that year.
Can I ask you a question? What happened with Larry Powell? He had such a promising. Didn't he get sick or something?
He did after his freshman year.
Yeah.
He had a tremendous freshman year, and he was really good.
Yeah.
I can't even pronounce the name of the disease that he got.
Did it kind of cripple him?
Yeah,
or?
yeah. It's some kind of a blood disease, and it was devastating. And now that you mention it, that may have just kind of put a cloud
Sure,
over the
some
whole
key
thing because
players.
it happened in the off season and everything. And
Yeah.
speak of key player that's coming back after a good freshman year, and as a matter of fact, Coach Stahl had to go and hit the junior college ranks and get a few
Sure.
running backs, one of which was Rick Upchurch, and that was a blessing.
Not
but
bad, not
Rick
bad.
didn't
Sure.
come until a year later. But
Right.
it had its toll on us, and it's
Right.
interesting you bring that up because I kind of forgot. And looking back now, I'm thinking, maybe that had a lot to do with the overall attitude of the
Key
team and
players
everything.
go down that
Yeah.
can affect everybody. So okay, all right, thanks.
To be honest with you, though, the sophomore year, I don't like thinking about
was
it
a
because
tough year, challenging.
there weren't too many teams I played on in my athletic career throughout high school and college that finished with a losing record, and that's hard to take.
Yeah. No, I understand. On to the 1975 season, your junior year. For the record, the Gophers went 3-5 in the Big Ten, tied for 7th place with Iowa, but they finished 6-5 overall. Their 3 Big Ten wins were on the road against Iowa and at home against Northwestern and Wisconsin. The Gophers' 3 non-conference wins, all of them at home, came against Western Michigan, Oregon, and Ohio University. Not to be confused with Ohio State. And Ron, you had a huge season in 1975. Again, I'm using sportsreference.com and the Minneapolis Star-Tribune archives as my sources. But in that season, you had a total of 42 receptions for 545 yards. You averaged 13 yards per catch and 49.5 yards per game. You also scored 4 touchdowns, which is great. Statistically, at least, your biggest game came on the road at Illinois, where you caught 7 passes for 98 yards, including 1 catch for a 25-yard TD pass. And then home against Michigan, you caught 5 passes for 75 yards, including an 8-yard TD pass. In fact, in a story written by Minneapolis Star reporter Bob Fowler, you set 3 Gopher records in pass receiving in 1975. Awesome. Do you remember what those 3 records were for? Was it number of receptions was one of them?
It was, yes. It was the number of receptions for a season and number of receptions in the Big Ten because they kept track of that.
Okay.
And the third one might have been yards.
Okay.
Just kind of an indication.
Yeah.
It wouldn't seem much to people listening today.
That must have been
because-
something, getting all those passes thrown to you after the,
Yeah, it was.
Yay.
After that sophomore year.
Yeah. Wow, that's
deal.
awesome. That's awesome. Which of those games in that 75 season where you caught all those passes, which game do you remember the most, or what was the one that you think of the most from that season? What was the most gratifying?
I guess the Michigan touchdown would have been because it tied the game, and we were supposed to lose by 28 against Michigan. I think they were favored by that much, so we were close with them. But that was the real highlight was the touchdown against Illinois because it was my first touchdown in my career.
Yeah.
And a story behind that is my mom and dad after that point came to every game, even away games.
Oh, and the road games too.
But
nice.
the road games it's kind of tough, financially and everything to make all those games.
Yeah.
they never missed a game at home, obviously. But my mom told the story that they were driving up to the cabin listening to Ray Christensen on WCCO.
Sure, Ray, good old Ray.
And when I caught the pass, my dad, he slammed his fist on the steering wheel and said, "That's it. We're going to the rest of the games." And but I'd like to describe that. I don't remember many catches in detail or what the plays were, but I remember that one specifically because aforementioned Tom Moore, he was a stickler on reading what defenses would do. And he was very good at studying film, along with Tony. Tony would study films forever. And Tom Moore had noticed what their strong safety was tipping off a coverage before the snap at certain times. And so we practiced, just like every week for all the years, you practice things you hope they do, and if you call it at the right time, it's a chess game, but it should work.
It works.
Now, most of the time, all the things you practice, it never kind of lines up that way.
Yeah.
But this particular time, I saw it. I noticed and immediately before Tony even checked off, I said, "This is a touchdown." I said, "They're doing exactly what Tom Moore said." We saw what the safety was doing, and he was going to be coming and it left the middle of the field wide open for me. And all I had to do, only thing I was worried about is that Tony got the snap, because I knew that he would have time, and I knew that I was going to be wide open. And so what's crazy about is in any catch that I had over my career, I wasn't thinking about it on the line of scrimmage about what was going to happen. But this one, a feeling just came over me, and I go, "This is going to be a touchdown." And it was very hard to contain myself on the line of scrimmage, because it was, and it ended up being a skinny post right over the middle of the field. And when I caught the ball, there wasn't a defender within 10 yards of me.
Wow. Untouched.
And so I had, untouched into the end zone, and it was just kind of like, "Oh, is this the way it's going to be?"
I like this feeling.
So anyways, I remember that one specifically, and Tony and I have chuckled about it many times and everything,
great.
because he gave me he checked off, and the signal for getting it was either, tap your helmet, but I just grabbed my face mask and adjusted it so it isn't so conspicuous, because you do that a lot.
Yeah.
And that told Tony that I got the thing, and so it was history.
Great story. Great story. So, what was your biggest takeaway of that season then? I mean, if you think back to see, you were 6-5 and 3-5 in the Big Ten. What was your favorite memory, or the strongest memory of that season?
Well, I would say just the team and the wins, and then the disappointment on the losses, I think, is because once again we felt we were close,
So close against Michigan,
Yeah, when you compete against a team like Michigan that year, probably if they weren't number one, they were number two in the nation.
Yeah.
And it was always that way with them in Ohio State.
Yep.
And when you play them close like that, then you feel you're getting closer. But the biggest takeaway were the defeats, really, because those hurt. With all the time you put into everything.
Right.
So.
And then how did you prepare for the next season, 76? I mean, realizing that was your last season, but you can talk maybe a little bit more in depth about that, but how did you prepare or get ready for 76, unlike maybe the years before? Just because from the benefit of being there 3 years, kind of know what to expect and prepare for?
Well, interestingly, what came along with the media and the records and things, Tony set some records with the offense and everything that year, and so we, the two of us decided that we were 6-5, and even though we had those statistics, we could get better, and I have to give Tony the nod on this, is because we were all winter long. We worked out at Bierman, and I'd go over there, and Tony was an early riser. He had early classes, so it would be like I'd have to get up and be over there by 7 a.m, and behind the bleachers in Bierman building, he would throw passes to me, and nice. I had to count, and it would be 100 a day. Wow. Now, I wasn't running routes or anything, but it was the middle of winter.
Yeah.
But so his arm could get stronger, because he wanted to get his arm stronger.
Put in the work, yeah.
And summer leading up to it, we worked out all summer on trying to get
Where would
better.
you actually work out practice? Down at the U? Or?
We would, wherever we could find a field.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Up here in the Heights, or was it mostly around campus?
Actually, I think Tony and I did come back a couple times just to, I introduced them to the coaches and things, to be up at Columbia Heights with the current team. And
nice.
I hear from guys all the time. They said that was a highlight in their life
that
when
would be a thrill for the
came
kids.
back, and
nice.
and they got to meet Tony. I don't think they were that excited to meet me, but just another Heights kid.
They were. Oh, that's
but,
nice. That's nice.
Yeah, and we actually came back and did a few things sometimes at the Columbia Heights field, but we would pretty much just practice at our place.
Yeah. Oh, that's great. That's great. Now, before we talk about the 76 season itself, your senior season, I just have to remind myself that you were a student athlete in Minnesota. What was your major?
My major was in teaching, phy ed, and I had a minor in health and coaching.
Okay.
So.
And then what kind of steps did you have to take just to balance your studies with athletics? I mean, you still had to go to class. You still had to take tests. I mean, how did you find time for everything?
Well,
how did you...
Well, a big adjustment into college, and I think that was overwhelming my freshman year, is that in high school, I don't know how it was for you, but we very seldom had to bring work home, unless some teacher had a paper.
Yeah.
You did then. But
a research paper
in college, as you know, there's a lot of work you have to do on your own. So the time, we were fortunate that we had a freshman year, we were required to go to study skills. In Bierman Building, we had a room with, it was like an auditorium room, a classroom, and they would have different, I think they were like student assistants, the teachers coming in, and in different subjects, and if you needed help, you could have that.
That's nice.
Now, the study skills was kind of a deal between you and the school or you and the team, but until you maintained a certain grade point average, and I can't remember if it was, I think it was like 2.5, so it was simple to get to. Yeah, it was simple to get to. But once you got to that, you were excused from that. So after the first quarter of my freshman year, I was excused and didn't go to it anymore. But I remember sitting in the study skills room. It was the first time that I met Flip Saunders, because he was a freshman.
He was your age,
same
basically,
time,
right?
yes.
Yeah.
So, and we got to know each other pretty well then. Yeah. But both of us got out of study skills after the first quarter. But some of the guys, they had to stay in study skills through the whole year. Right. But yes, balancing the schoolwork, and as I mentioned earlier, just getting your class schedule. I don't know if you remember when you were over there, but we used to go and you'd stand in line to get. There were no computers. And you had this list, and you'd be in line, and you'd just be hoping when you got there that it wasn't full.
Right.
Because as you know, if it was full, you had to change almost your whole schedule.
I know.
And to this day, I tell my wife and kids, because they say I'm very impatient, but I can't stand in lines.
I'm not a big line guy either.
At the state fair, I go, you can. I could be hungry, but I go, no, I'm not standing in that line. And to this day, I blame it on, because of that, it affected me. It's just
the long lines, not fun.
That and the fact that you got to rearrange your schedule, and that was a real challenge. And we had to be. We couldn't take classes after, I think it was 2:00, because we're in getting taped around 2:30. Right. So, and a lot of students, they have that opportunity to take a later class.
Sure. Yeah.
So
interesting, because I went to the U and I had to really work hard just to finish, but I wasn't in sports. I had part-time jobs, but I thought that was just hard. Yeah. Anybody who graduates with a college degree, they've earned it, in my opinion. You can't just bluff your way through it. It's an achievement.
I agree.
It's an achievement. So. Now, on to the 1976 season itself. For the record, the Gophers went 4-4 in the Big Ten, a four-way tie for third place with Illinois, Indiana, and Purdue. And for the second straight year, they finished 6-5 overall. Their 4 Big Ten wins included 2 wins at home against Indiana and Illinois, and 2 wins on the road against Michigan State and Northwestern. The Gophers' 2 non-conference wins, both of them at home, came against Washington State and Western Michigan. Ron, you had another great season in 1976, again, thanks to sportsreference.com and the Minneapolis Star-Tribune archives as my sources. In those games, you had 33 receptions for 372 yards. You averaged just over 11 yards per catch and just under 34 yards per game. You also scored a touchdown. And I can't forget to mention this, but you were also named to the All-Big Ten second team in 1976. That must have felt great.
Did.
All that hard work paid off, so, okay. Statistically, at least, your biggest game during the 76 season came at home against Ohio State when you caught 6 passes for 73 yards. You also had a nice game in the win at Michigan State, where you caught 5 passes for 61 yards. And in the season opener at home against Indiana, you scored on a 15-yard TD pass and finished the day with 4 catches for 58 yards. So those are some numbers, and they're impressive numbers. But in all those games in that 76 season, which game is the one you remember the most, and why?
Probably Michigan State. We went on the road, and Michigan State was, they were probably similar to our program at that time. But it was what Tony grew up not too far, and had an opportunity. They recruited Tony.
He was from Jackson,
Michigan, yeah, correct. Yeah, and they recruited him, and as did Michigan, and it was important to him. Cal Stahl had coached there, and it was their homecoming, and. Again, we were underdogs. We weren't favored to win. But back to Tom Moore again. He put in back in the 70s. It wasn't really. It's not like you see football today, but he put in a lot of motion, and I was the person that was going in motion the whole game, and I just remember it because I probably ran, more than I'd ever in anything I've done, because I would line up and be out on one side. I was kind of a slot receiver, but I'd be way out. We'd be in twins on one side, and I'd motion all the way across the field. Now, we did that because you can then, Tony can look up and you can see the defense adjust. But I went in motion on almost every snap. So I was just really tired, and I had a lot of opportunities. I caught. I don't remember how many I caught in that. You mentioned it, but
Michigan State.
Yeah,
it says 5 passes, 61 yards.
Yeah, so, and they were. I'm proud to say that they were all for first downs, and most of my catches. I don't remember too many of my catches that weren't for first downs. I was kind of like whatever we needed. That's why I didn't even know what my average per catch was, but you said it was 13 my junior year, and then 11. But 11 will get you a first down if it's 3rd and 7.
Exactly. Yeah.
But I remember that game specifically for I was tired. It was an exciting win to beat them. Kent Kitzman, a sophomore running back from Rochester, ran for he carried the ball. At that time was a record for how many carries he had. I think he had like 51 carries.
Is that the game?
Yeah.
I remember that.
And I can't remember the yardage, but so if I got 5 passes, we probably only threw the ball about 15 times that game because Kent was running the ball real well.
What a workhorse!
one of the balls I caught down close to the goal line. It was I caught it and I just got tripped up with about 2 yards to go, and I remember diving and reaching and I couldn't reach that far, and the ball fell out of my hands and it bounced right back up to me, but I was already kind of going on the ground.
Yeah,
I was disappointed in that because in films it's like the coaches are like no. So different than today where the players all reach out and everything.
Right.
I would always coach my receivers when I coached later on to protect the ball all the time because I saw that on a highlight film. Is the only reason I remember it is I saw the play on a highlight film, and I go, doing that, and I could have cost us there, but we scored. They brought Kitzman probably ran the next one in from the 2-yard line. So anyway,
when you received all conference honors, how did you find out? I mean, how soon before we found out about it did you get notified? Who told you? Cal Stahl?
I think.
Or Tom Moore?
In the season end, they went over who did what in our meetings and everything.
Yeah.
But my junior season, it's not written in there, but I do have documents of my junior season. I was first team All Big Ten.
Oh, I'm sorry, you left that out. Okay,
but it was usually there's UPI and AP. But
right,
this was the Chicago Tribune.
Oh, okay.
And the Chicago Tribune is all the writers of the Big Ten, I guess. And they're the ones who vote on it. Some of those other ones are maybe coaches and things. But, my junior year, I found out at the end of the season and everything, and that was quite an honor because I remember I still have the picture of the other players on that team, and it's fun to look back at because on either side of the ball.
Yeah.
I would say 90% of those guys went on to pretty substantial careers in the NFL,
right.
at whatever position.
It's funny you mentioned that. I'm going to have to check my source again where I was looking to Gopher records, of each season, and they listed players that made all Big Ten, but like I said, I think it was like AP or UPI. Yeah. And it depends on, I guess, the source, So you were first team All Big Ten as a junior. Correct. By the
Chicago Tribune, the writers.
Wow, okay. Yeah. Well, congratulations. And I wasn't aware.
And I thought the same thing because I've never, just a few years ago, I had someone ask me some questions. And I go, I should know some of that stuff. Like, I didn't know that my 4 touchdowns my junior year led the Big Ten in receiving touchdowns.
Yeah.
Think of that. Now,
I know.
Today there are
game
receivers that might get 4 in a game, 4 touchdowns.
It was a different time.
And until I looked it up and Googled it, but I did find a sheet that said, and it had Cal Stahl's era and awards. And in the early years, John King, you mentioned him.
Yeah.
He was first team All Big Ten and everything. But Keith Fonhorst, who I played with, a teammate of mine. But my name was on there as first team All Big Ten in the year that it was. They had a list, and I went, there's the only place I see that around.
Great. So 2 years you were All Big Ten. So first team and second team.
Second team.
No, that's awesome. That's awesome. So, when you think back about your senior year, then what is your biggest takeaway from that? I mean, what sticks with you the most?
Once again, disappointing because we had worked so hard and thought we would, but we had injuries, and not just myself, Mike Jones, the other receiver. He hurt his knee in summer, ended up missing quite a few games to start the season, and that takes away a threat, and it puts more pressure on me when there's not both of us. We had an outstanding defensive lineman. George Washington was his name.
I remember that
and
name.
He was a nose guard in the year before.
He's a Michigan kid too, right?
Yes, he was from Flint, Michigan.
Okay.
And no, he might have been from Detroit, Flint or Detroit. I can't remember. But George was a tremendous player, and the year before, his junior year, he had led the entire Big Ten in tackles.
Wow.
And George got hurt. That shuffled everything because we had to take a center, Mark Slater from North Dakota, who was a strong offensive player, and he was a great athlete. And we had to move him over to replace George.
Right.
And then we lost a left tackle, and then we lost a guard. And as I said, Mike was hurt. A couple of our defensive backs, George Azik, who was tremendous, had to miss a little bit of time. He was a 4-year starter at strong safety.
Yeah.
He was injured. I was out. I broke my back against Michigan in the second quarter, I think.
Yeah.
I sat out one game.
Oh, you
did?
did?
I missed the Northwestern game.
Okay.
I didn't want to, but the doctors said I had to.
Well, if you're back.
So with Mike being out in the beginning, and we at Northwestern we won handily.
Yeah.
And another thing that sticks out for me is watching or listening to that game on the radio at home was.
Oh, you actually stayed at home for that?
Yes.
Okay. Right.
That wasn't.
They weren't
going to take a guy to travel if he's not even suiting up. And
right.
It was the hardest day of my 4-year career to be home and listen. Although we won, and I will say that Northwestern's program, thankfully for them, turned around over the years and got better. But they were so poor then that we beat them with a limited team with guys that were hurt and out. But also the team got food poisoning the night before the game.
Oh man!
And from what I understand, when the guys that came back said it was a good thing you didn't go because some meal or something they ate, and they were literally getting sick on the sidelines.
No.
So this is a depleted team with many guys out with injuries, and the team that was sick, and they had no problem beating Northwestern.
Yeah.
So I remember that. It was tough to be home, though, and away from it.
We've talked about the 4 seasons that you played with the Gophers. 3 of them were winning seasons, 2 with 6 wins overall, and then the 1 with 7 wins. In today's major college football world, those winning seasons would have definitely been bowl eligible. But that was then. That it's different. I mean, there's so many more bowl games today than there were back in the mid-'70s. So, after that was done, then, if you want to talk just briefly about that, when was the last time you actually put on football pads? You did try out with the Vikings, right?
Correct.
That was was that the year right after? So it would have been 70s, the fall of 76?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you went down to Mankato and
yes. I was in Mankato in 1977.
77. Okay.
77 because
right. You got
and actually it was Tommy Kramer's rookie year. Tommy and I
Yeah.
became good friends over the summer
okay,
because
okay.
he was up here already, being the number 1 draft pick.
Yeah.
Him and Scott Studwell,
Studwell,
who
sure.
ironically I had played against because Studs played for Illinois,
right? Yeah.
and he probably hit me a few times. And we'd have Scott come because we needed more legs to run routes. And
Yeah.
Tony and I worked out all summer together.
Okay.
We rode down to camp together to Mankato. And that was interesting because I had lived here my whole life, and you too, and I knew that 169 to Mankato at that time was one of the most heavily patrolled highways in the state of Minnesota.
Yeah.
And I knew that we shouldn't speed. And Tony showed up late picking me up, and him being a number 1 draft choice, he didn't care because what are they going to do? But me being a free agent, I didn't want to really be a rookie that's showing up late. I mean, it wasn't terrible, if they said we were supposed to be there at 11.
Yeah.
He's picking me up at my house, and I wanted him to be there at 9, and he doesn't come until 10:30. And he just goes, no problem, and he jumped in his Lincoln Continental that he had won in the Senior Bowl for being MVP, and picked me up, and we were, I think the statute of limitations is over now, but we went 110 miles an hour down 169, and I looked at him all the way saying, you can't do this.
Yeah.
But anyway, it was fun because I got to know Tommy pretty well.
Yeah.
We had it, and camp was fun. Once again, if I thought the step from high school to college,
I was going to say it's
was
like a pyramid. It's
was
tougher and
you
tougher.
asked me the differences or what was, and it was overwhelming.
Yeah.
But the size and the speed, just the athleticism of people that are at the next level, you can't describe it. Even, and I'd say it doesn't matter, Division I football player to the next level. An example I always give people is Chuck Foreman held out for the first week or two of practice. He was holding out for a better contract, which he deserved.
Yeah.
And I remember the day he came back, and because I would be in the huddle sometimes, and he just rotated, so I would be in the huddle sometimes with all the starters. And I just remember Fran Tarkington missing handoffs to Chuck because he was so much quicker than the other guys. And so, the timing and everything.
Yeah.
And I'd watch him in awe because of how quick he was off the ball, and we all remember his patented spins and everything that he made so famous. But he was just the overall, athletic ability and speed of all those guys.
Right.
And I was fortunate enough to be able to be in the huddle for a short time in a summer of '77 with some of our idols, guys.
Sure.
You saw.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
the Vikings had been to 4 Super Bowls prior to me getting there,
Yep.
and we all grew up with and to be in the huddle with all those guys. I mean, it was a good experience.
Yeah, exactly. How many games did you play with them?
I was only with them through I'd say 3/4 of the
Preseason?
Preseason.
Oh, okay.
And unfortunately, Bud Grant didn't believe that rookies had to earn their way in practice, and back then they played the preseason a little different, but they played for some reason they played them seriously.
They played starters, I
the
remember
starters
that.
played most of the games. And it's very rare.
It's a different
very
time.
rare, to even get an opportunity. But I will share one story with you that I don't think I did. We played the Los Angeles Rams in the L.A. Coliseum in the preseason.
I think I remember that game. It was on TV.
I don't know if it was or not, but
It was.
I just remember that I stood and watched across the field. Was my childhood idol was Joe Namath. Now, Joe Namath last year he switched his last year of his career.
That's right.
And I remember seeing him across the thing and then being able to watch him. And I said, I wore white shoes in high school because of Joe Namath. Okay, so
You were the first kid in high school to wear white football shoes. I do remember that.
That's right. I brought him out on the old WTCN TV game. And
I remember those Thursday nights or whatever they played.
Coach Ron Raveling, during pregame warm-ups, was walking around watching everybody as we're stretching, and he looked down at me and he said something I can't repeat about my shoes, but he said I looked like a blankety blank registered nurse, and that was it. He didn't make me go in and change him or anything. No? But anyway, I digressed. I went.
We just saw Joe Willie out in the Coliseum.
Joe Namath was my childhood hero.
Yeah.
And after the game, I made sure that I went in the other locker room and I went up to him because we could,
Yeah.
they're pretty loose down in the locker rooms. And I went in and introduced myself and shook his hand and stuff.
for you.
And so
Good
I got an opportunity to meet my
Yeah. Oh,
idol.
that's cool. That's cool. Great story. Great story. Did you ever consider Canadian Football League, or once the Viking thing? Did you say?
I actually did when I was released by the Vikings.
Yeah.
I got letters after my junior year. I got a lot of letters from numerous teams, but from the Canadian Football League. But I was in Bud Grant's office talking to him.
Mm-hmm.
He had called me and got me some tickets to. I think it was some kind of a retirement thing for Butch Nash, because
Oh, okay, sure.
Bud is an M-man, was
You
an
bet,
M-man
you
as
bet,
well. So,
yeah.
and he said, I thought you might enjoy going to this. And they were expensive tickets, and I thought that was nice. But I said, what do you think? What do you think I should do? Because what do you think about Canada? Bud had coached up
Sure,
there,
Winnipeg. Yeah.
and he said, Ron, you can go up there and you'll bounce around on some teams, because back then we were considered, foreign players or
Yeah,
something.
they had
There
a
was
certain amount of Canadian players,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
So,
there were only a few, that could be American on each team. And he says, because of that, no matter how well you're doing, the next year you may find yourself at another team. He said, and they don't pay much. He said, and he actually was honest with me, and I to this day, I admire him for that. And he said, to be honest with you, he said, I would start whatever you're going to do in your life right now in your career, because he said you're not going to make any money and you're going to get bounced around and things. So he was being brutally honest with me.
Yeah.
And I took his advice
Yeah.
because I respected him,
Yeah.
as
Yeah.
I always had, and went on to just
Yeah.
start my
Life
work, my
after
career.
college
Yeah.
football. So,
Yeah.
well, it was a good 4 years there. So that's always something you can always look back on. I want to do something real quick now, Ron. I'm going to call it a lightning round. I've asked a lot of open-ended questions, but I've got some just quick ones that I thought of as I was just, thinking about things to ask you and that stuff. And these are just quick responses. You can, if you don't know an answer, just say pass, and we'll go to the next one. All right, you already answered this question. I said, did you choose Gopher jersey number 46, or was it assigned to you?
Yeah, it was given to me.
Okay, but
yep.
you made the best of it.
Yeah.
Okay. What was the warmest, hottest, excruciating game you remember playing in? Were you like on the sidelines or out in the field and you're going, man, I'm roasting. This is
Yeah, the games in early.
Yeah,
The
earlier.
first one would always be, but the hottest I ever was in a pre-fall practice.
Okay.
The heat on the field, the heat index, they said, was like 110, and we had the terrible AstroTurf
Oh,
or
which
whatever they
makes it
called
even
it.
hotter,
So
yeah.
you could see that if you looked,
yeah.
you could see that
Yeah.
kind of fume.
Yeah.
And I got, at that time, didn't know it, but I got heat exhaustion or something.
Wow,
And
wow.
the trainers knew that I sweat easily and heavy, but they came by me once and I said, hey, I stopped sweating.
Oh.
And they immediately rushed me in, put
Yeah.
me on a table and put ice on me. And
Wow.
so
Okay.
I missed a good part of the practice because
Okay.
I overheated.
But it wasn't
to
a
answer your
game. It
question.
was practice that you remember being the hottest.
Yeah, I
most
don't
dangerously
remember. I
hot.
remember being cold in the
Yeah.
later games, but never.
That was my
never
next
very
question.
hot. Yeah.
Which game was the most miserable as far as cold weather? Whether it was rain,
Well,
snow, just cold, wind.
Would be Wisconsin every year because we played Wisconsin the
Last
last
game
game
of
of
the
the
year.
year, and it was snow at our place when we won my junior year.
Okay.
I remember that because the snowballs flying at the Wisconsin people from the stands.
I
You might have been there, and you might have been throwing
I
them. Yeah.
I remember Memorial Station.
But
yeah.
you mentioned the rain, and unfortunately, the worst feeling I ever had was we lost to Wisconsin my senior year, the last game of the year
Yeah.
at Camp Randall, and in the rain.
Oof.
And
That's
terrible
Oh,
feeling.
Yeah,
to,
that rain is not good, especially when it's cold and rainy.
Cold, rainy,
and,
yeah.
and maybe out of the wind. It's like, oh,
and then
yeah.
their band playing, and I just
Yeah. Who was your favorite local media personality? You had to know between print, TV, and radio. Who did you talk or interact with the most? Or?
Well, the obvious one is
Sid.
Yeah, Sid was good to me, and
Yeah.
even after I left, I would say Sid. John Rowe. Do you remember John Rowe?
Oh, yeah.
And John Rowe
Yeah.
was really big in the golf scene too, as
Yes.
far as he covered
Yes.
golf. But
Yes.
John Rowe was just a tremendously nice man, and I remember him.
Any St. Paul writers come to mind?
St. Paul.
Was Royce covering Gophers?
Royce was there was he actually was the editor over there, if you remember his name. I can't remember, but he said a lot of nice things about me. I never met him but it would have to be Sid, and Sid.
Sure.
Sid was not shy about. He had a little tape recorder, and he would follow you everywhere with that.
Yep.
And,
Sid. Wow. And for so long too. He lived to be 100. Amazing. Which stadium? Which stadium was the crowd like the most hostile or least friendly? Do you remember being there?
Easily, Wisconsin would be a close second, but it was Iowa.
Ah, okay.
Iowa,
that doesn't surprise me.
Cal, am I supposed to? You're supposed to answer these quick, but I have a story for all of them.
That's okay. Go ahead.
Before we went to Iowa, the first time I went there, he said we practiced at the stadium that obviously the day before on Fridays, and it's empty. Yeah. And he said tomorrow. He says, when you come out of the stadium, he said, make sure you got your hats on, and hats meant the helmets and stuff. Mm-hmm. And when we came out of the tunnel at Iowa, the people are dumping whiskey and beer on you. Wow. And it literally was soaked into you. And it was hostile there.
Wow.
Yeah.
Not
a lot of pleasant environment.
No, that's a rivalry. I mean, there's a reason they have a trophy for that game. Yeah. Okay. Kind of a two-part question, but during your 4 years with the team, who was the physically biggest player, and who's the smallest? When you look at him going, God, that guy is huge. Or you saw some guy going, he's a football player? I'm thinking like a kicker maybe, but who was the biggest guy? Well, probably a lineman, I suppose. But.
It isn't a lineman. The most impressive guy was Archie Griffin. Now you'd look at him and everything, but he had the most powerful legs I've ever seen. I'm talking about an offensive guy, not somebody I played against. He was just an amazing athlete. Two-time Heisman winner, and we played against him twice. And I couldn't imagine. I was glad I was on the other side of the ball because I couldn't imagine having to tackle him. But defensively, there's just some defensive backs that I know were, if they weren't playing, they would have been in prison because they were physical.
Physical, and just tough and strong.
Physical. A lot of things they did that would be assault and battery.
What was the sweetest victory while you played there, and what was the toughest one? I mean, the toughest to take. Which one felt the best for you?
That's a good question. I would say Wisconsin.
Okay.
Just because just like it is now, the rivalry was big there, and we were 2-2 against Wisconsin, as you pointed out. We won both games at home against Wisconsin and lost there. But just nothing personal as far as the kind of game I had or anything, but just to beat them, and it was the end of the season and everything. That one always was to me the best. We didn't have any. We were close to Iowa State my senior year. We lost 8-3.
I was at that game actually. I went to that game.
We held we held them to our defense held them obviously to the lowest point total they had their whole year, but they were averaging like 28 points a game. Yeah, we had a field goal as the only thing in that game.
Would you say, as far as the toughest loss to take, you have mentioned before, but maybe that Michigan game when you were a junior where you could have won, but didn't quite?
That was hard. I personally thought that was the toughest one. Yeah. I'll tell you how Tony would answer this because I'll tell a story about it. And he had a great ability to have things in perspective and in everything. But we were cruising along our senior year, doing well. We did lose to Michigan. I got hurt and went to the hospital, so I didn't even finish that game. But we played Iowa, and we had I think we had we were 10.
12-0 lead at the half or something?
Yeah, we were up 12 at the half, and we ended up losing 14 to 12. Yeah. But I remember in the locker room, Tony he was never very high up or very low. He just even keel all the time, and he couldn't leave the locker room. He's sitting on a bench, and I just, come on, we got to go. We have people out there, our family and everything. He just looked at me and he said, Ron, this one's going to hurt. Now, it was in the middle of the year and everything, and I didn't. But he was right because it made the difference in everything. And we were close to maybe we were being looked at by like the Fiesta Bowl and things, but he knew that was a game that we let get away, and I was just so surprised that he saw that. He kind of saw how the rest of the season would play out, and he knew that was a tough one.
Yeah, no, I can see that. And you've already answered this question. It was that Michigan game where you literally broke your back. That was the most pain you felt after a game.
Yeah,
Well, it caused you to miss a game, right?
Yeah, I didn't. The pain was when it happened, but and I thought I'd gotten the wind knocked out of me, as many kids do. You do that on the playground and everything, where you can't breathe, and I literally couldn't breathe, and I was laying there, and then it subsided, and I went to get up, and I couldn't get up.
What happened? Did you jump up for a pass or something?
I was catching one over the middle, and I was completely stretched out, up high, and
you got hit
in the lower part of my back. At that time, they still could lead with their helmets.
Okay.
And I'll never forget the player, because I obviously had studied film and everything, and was Dwight Hicks, number 17 for Michigan.
I remember that name.
And he ended up playing, I think, for the 49ers later. But he just, which they were coached to do that then, because you want to separate the receiver from the ball, and one of the good ways to do it is to with impact, and the helmet hit me right in the lower part, and I fractured 2 transverse processes on my back.
But you still played like 3 or 4 more games, right? After that.
Well, after that,
you missed a game.
I went to the hospital, and had to lay on the floor on the plane on the way home, because I couldn't sit in a chair. It was too painful.
Oh my gosh.
And I sat out the Northwestern game, and then came back for it was. Actually, all we had left was Ohio State, the close game that we could have won, and then the disappointing one in Wisconsin.
Okay. Wow.
So,
Wow. Okay. Yeah. I know, with practice and, working out and studying and all that stuff, while you were down there, though, living as a student athlete, do you have a couple of places where kind of like favorite hangouts? I mean, I know there's a McDonald's there in Dinkytown, and there's a Vessio's. I mean, was there a place that you guys like to go to?
Yeah, well, Stub and Herb's.
Yes.
But there was a rest. I think it's changed now, and I was down there with my daughters when we went back to a game, and it's called Sally's now. But I think wasn't that called? Was that the Big Ten?
The Big Ten.
The Big Ten. The guys would hang out.
Yep.
I would say that I didn't have the normal college life, because after my freshman year, when we were required to stay in the dorms, then I lived at home, because Columbia Heights, and it was easy.
Oh, okay.
So when practice was over, I'd go home, where a lot of the guys are down there still, the guys from out of state.
See, I didn't know that. Yeah. I wasn't sure if you were living in a dorm or in a frat.
I only lived in a dorm my freshman year when it was required, and then I commuted, and it kind of... Well, my daughters had a completely different experience at their college, because they stayed on campus or in an apartment or whatever.
Right.
I tell them, if I had any regrets, I would have stayed there down, because coming home, then you're not doing it. But it also was probably good that I wasn't going out like some of my teammates in the middle of the night and everything.
You get in trouble. Or get carried away.
But it was, you mentioned the McDonald's. Tony and I had plenty of meals at the McDonald's right there.
Was that steakhouse still there?
The steakhouse, yes, with the
Bridge Best Steakhouse,
the great toast,
the 99-cent special.
Oh, unbelievable! I talk about the big baked potato and a piece of toast that was grilled, and I even think there was a little salad with it. A tiny little bit of lettuce.
There's a great deal.
Yeah,
deal.
That's interesting that you brought that up. Or Vessio's, like you said.
Yeah. This is kind of just a fun question. Was there a combination uniform that you liked best? I remember you had the really cool gold helmets, but sometimes you had gold pants at home. Did you always have gold jerseys? Did you have maroon sometimes? Did they kind of mix it up?
Yeah.
What was your favorite? What did you like wearing best?
Mix it up like they do now, where they have a different combination.
Week,
and we always had the same helmet when I was there. We only had the gold, which are pretty popular.
Oh, those
even
are beautiful.
Today.
I still think they're awesome.
My freshman year, we had a terrible-looking old gold complete uniform. The jerseys were old gold, and they almost looked pea green.
Right.
As a matter of fact, I might have one of those at home. Doesn't fit me anymore, but because they became practice jerseys. And
didn't they bring in maroon jerseys after a while?
We had maroon, and we also had the mesh ones. One year we had nice maroon uniforms, but then they had the mesh was big then.
Nice. Yeah.
Unfortunately, those guys would get their fingers caught in the little holes and things.
Oh.
We also had tearaways, and they were around for like 1 year in college football. And I don't ever know why. Maybe because they were almost like T-shirts, but that was for the backs. And I remember some of our guys, they'd go through 3-4 of them a game, because as the people are holding on to them, they'd rip.
They'd rip, tearaways.
So but the combination I think that I enjoyed the most were the maroon. I mean the maroon jersey and the gold pants.
I always thought maroon and gold was a great combination. Yeah. So here's kind of a fun song. When you hear any song on the radio today Does it bring you back to your playing days? Like if you listen to more of a classic genre, I mean, there's certain songs and you hear it and you go, oh yeah, that's back when I was playing football. Was there a song that was like popular among the players or
Brick House?
Oh, okay, okay.
Because the guys kind of named our
Oh yeah, your stadium.
Our stadium
Yeah.
that. Then after that, the
Brick House by Commodores, right?
I think it was.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think it was. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
How did it work? And this is back before guys had their own phones and earbuds and that stuff. But was there like a radio or a stereo that would play in the locker room, or you didn't have music, anything like that? You could hear music while you guys were showering, or
No, we didn't. But
Okay.
I remember specifically what a shock it was when I was a freshman and we were in the dorms, because all of the guys had they brought stereos.
Oh,
And
okay.
they'd play their own music,
Sure,
and it
yeah.
would be loud, and it was playing all the time. But we didn't have music in the. I think that's something that came later, as far as like
Yeah.
even during practices or anything, wasn't any music.
Okay. I just wondered because the way I'm wired, I can always place a song, or if I hear a song from the '70s, I can always remember where I was or what I was doing. Like, that's when I was working here. That's when I was going to school,
Yeah.
and it always brings back. And I just
Absolutely.
wondered what songs from the '70s that you would think of that would remind you of football. So
Well, to that point, the song that still gives me chills and makes the hair stand up on my arms is if I'm at a game and I hear the band marching down when they come down the street and they're playing, or to hear the Rouser.
Oh yeah. I like that, and I like Minnesota March too. The
Yep,
John Philip
yep.
Sousa one. It's
Yes.
just such a tradition, you
Yeah,
know. So
those
yeah,
songs.
no, that's cool. That's cool. Of all the other Big Ten fields you played on, which one felt the best, or which one did you like playing on?
Great.
Ignore the crowd, just the whole, like the actual field. Say this is really a cool place. You know.
Well, that's great that you said that, because I played my whole career and it was new then. It was the turf and it was bad.
I know. Yeah.
I'll start with the worst was Michigan. Their turf was old, and it was basically, that stuff was just blacktop, and then
And a welcome
then,
mat.
then the kind you put at your doorway, and theirs had wore down. That there were parts of the stadium where it wore down, and when you were on it, you could actually see the blacktop
Oh, man.
through it.
Oh, man.
So theirs was down to just basically you were playing in the street.
Yeah.
The best field that I played on was the only time I played on in my whole career on natural grass
grass.
was at Purdue.
Oh, okay.
And,
they always
yeah,
had grass.
and I
Okay.
remember sliding and
Yeah.
because if you slid on turf, it was turf burns, and
Oh,
it was just the most
stabs.
painful thing. And then if you got in the shower, it just burned.
Yeah.
But I remember sliding probably for a catch or something and getting up. All I
Hey,
had were
it
grass
didn't hurt.
stains. I had grass stains on, and I went, "This is the way it should be."
Isn't that amazing?
So,
I mean, they've come a long way with even artificial surfaces, but oh my gosh, it's just like the fields that kids had to play on back then. It was barbaric.
Yeah.
Well, I remember. Memorial Stadium was like that.
Yeah.
I mean, that looked
Yeah.
that just looked hard. In fact, wasn't it the year after you graduated they moved to grass? Didn't they put natural grass back on the
They
field?
did put some
Because
in
when
there,
they
yeah.
beat Michigan at home.
Yeah, it was. That's
on
right. They
natural
tore it up.
grass.
Yeah.
You
So-
missed by a year.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And a
wow.
lot of the places had gone back to grass then because the stuff was so bad. But
Yeah. Who was the best athlete that you saw on the football squads the 4 years? I mean, this guy was not only a great football player, but he probably could have played in the NBA. He had a 50-inch vertical leap.
I don't know about the vertical. The obvious answer is Tony, and I'll
okay.
talk about him. But on the other side of the ball was a kid by the name of Doug Bedoin.
Oh, from North Dakota.
Doug
I
Bedoin
remember
from
him.
North Dakota. And he started out he was 1 year ahead of us. But
Yeah.
his freshman year, he was a running back, and he set the freshman rushing record
Wow.
for freshmen. But they switched him, and he ended up having a short career in the NFL. He
Yeah.
played for 3-4 years.
Yeah.
As a safety.
Yeah.
But Doug, again, played basketball with him. He was tremendous. But we had the opportunity to play golf with him once when we were at school, and he just did everything naturally.
Just
tremendous. But
From Jamestown, North Dakota? or something
exactly.
like that?
Yep.
Wow.
And a good buddy of mine while we were at school
Yeah,
together.
yeah.
But Tony, without a doubt, he was. He's not only a special individually, he's a special athlete. Many people don't know about his prowess on the basketball court, but he was.
He's a great basketball player.
He was. I saw a clipping one time at his apartment. It was from his sophomore year in high school, and he was first-team All-State in Michigan as a sophomore.
Wow.
And the 4 other guys on that thing, I told him to this day, I said, I want to get that, because when I tell this story, I can't remember the names of the other 4, but they all not only played tremendous careers in college, they all played in the NBA.
And you don't remember the names?
No,
Oh,
I
wow,
can't even
wow,
tell
wow.
you who they were. But because
he was
they're
among
older
that
guys,
group.
and they were older than him because he was a
sophomore,
and they were
All-State.
all senior.
Wow.
To be All-State in a state of like Michigan
Yeah.
in basketball, and you're a sophomore.
Wow. Yeah,
So
he must have been something.
he could have easily. He played his freshman year under Musselman with the Gophers in basketball
Yeah.
too, but he could have easily just not
Stayed-
played football and played
stayed-
basketball, and he would have been tremendous.
Wow,
Yeah,
wow,
he was good.
Was there a player on the team? I don't want to use the term class clown, but was there a guy on the team that could just kind of keep guys light or keep things light? It was just funny. He could just say something.
Yeah,
and-
George Washington, probably
Oh,
because
okay.
he had to be because of his name. But he was very, very funny. He was an actor. But
Yeah.
a year later, Desi Williamson came. Desi Williamson was a linebacker.
Okay.
And he to this day, he does professional speaking and things. I mean, he was tremendously funny. He could imitate people and things.
Desi Williamson?
Desi Williamson. Yeah,
Okay.
he was a linebacker. And
Okay. Interesting.
he was very funny.
Yeah. I was just trying to get some elements that people wouldn't normally think of,
Yeah.
And they're all good football players, but
Yeah.
what are they like as people?
Yeah,
just-
George Washington never lost a wrestling match his whole high school career. He was
Wow,
a state champion
wow.
in Michigan,
Wow.
and tremendous football player. As I said, he was 1 year he led the Big Ten in tackles as our nose guard, and he had the name George Washington. And in 1976, Cal Stahl coined him as my bicentennial nose guard. So, but he played.
that's
He
fun.
literally could sing. He had a tremendous voice,
Wow.
and he played the piano.
Oh my gosh!
So,
What a fun guy to have on a
Yeah,
team!
yeah.
Wow. Well, it's been nearly 50 years now since you last played. You talked about some injuries. What kind of lingering injuries, kinds of surgeries have you had since you played? Probably because of football.
Time won't allow to tell you about it, but I have a knee replacement.
Okay.
Everybody our age does.
Yeah.
But I injured both knees, never had to have surgery back then, thankfully, because surgery
Right.
then would mean almost that you're done.
Right.
I broke my hand. I had the back, many shoulder injuries. But my children will tell you to this day that most of it was probably the hits to the head, because I suffered 3 concussions while I played. I joke with people that I'm still in the concussion protocol. So there's lingering effects, let's say.
Yep.
And
Well, they treat concussions so differently now.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
the protocol is so much stricter now than then. So, I can remember they talk about somebody just got their bell rung and they'll be okay.
That's what they say. And you remember smelling salts,
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
in high school,
Yeah.
Rav would come by with the smelling salts. And
Yeah.
but I specifically remember one time when I got knocked out, and that was at Ohio State. And the fun part about this is it dates me, but the coach at Ohio State then was Woody Hayes.
I remember Woody, sure.
And I got caught a pass near their sideline. Maybe that's what I did. I guess I either caught quick slants or I
sideline,
caught sideline
sideline,
catches,
yep.
and I got hit helmet to helmet, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And I all I remember is I was laying on the ground and I opened my eyes and a figure was above me and put his hand on my shoulder because I was trying. He said, "Stay down, son. Your trainer's on his way over." Because he was coming across the field, and I look up and I go,
Woody.
Woody Hayes is here, and where I didn't know where I was. And I go, why is Woody Hayes talking to me? And
With the black hat with the O on
to your point though, cross the field, 2 plays, and back in.
Wow.
Now today that would be 2 weeks of protocol,
At
and
least.
everything else, at least, and before you clear, which is good.
Right.
But,
yeah. Yep. And then finally, this one here. This is long after your playing days, I guess. But which stadium do you like better? The old Metrodome in downtown Minneapolis or Huntington Bank on campus?
Oh, Huntington
Yeah,
without
just-
it. I feel bad for the guys that had to
Oh,
play
I
in that.
know. It was off. I mean, I don't know. They were hoping that could be a good.
Did you
venue, but
continue to go to games when it was in there or not?
I did, but I love TCF. Excuse me, Huntington. I love
Yeah.
the stadium. I think they did that one right. That's a
Yeah,
nice stadium.
I agree with
so,
you 100%.
okay. All right, Ron. Well, I appreciate this. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to let you talk for as long as you want because I know this person is really special to you. Tell me about Tony Dungy. I mean, well, you played with him then, and how you've kept in touch with him over the years?
Sure. Yeah, we remain friends now. I guess it's going on probably 52 years since we met in 1973 when we were freshmen. The first couple of weeks, I was on the other side of the ball. Obviously I knew who Tony was and he knew who I was. But once I switched over to offense, I would say people still joke us that we were inseparable for 4 years because we did. Pretty much after football, he'd come home with me to my house many times and stay. It just depended on the situation. But we became very close, and I'm fortunate to call him my friend for this long. But he had effects on my life much deeper than just the athletics. I didn't realize his faith, how strong it was when we were in school, because he didn't promote it or push it on people,
Right.
but just the character and everything. You hear people talk about him, but over the years, he set so many good examples for me and for everyone. To be honest with you, our friendship has been maintained over all these years.
How often do you actually see him? I mean, when you take a vacation or something? Because he lives in Florida, probably.
Right? But he'll, with his speaking and everything, and
true.
that's intensified since he got in the Hall of Fame. But one thing I will mention, people come up to me all the time and say, "Hey, do you think Tony could come and do this or do that?" And it's very difficult now because people demand a lot of his time, and he's still working for NBC. He's going to do one more year, I think, but and he's got a large family that they've adopted, so he's busy. But all of the he's written. I don't know, he wrote 3 books, and his wife and him have done some children's books, and they do book appearances and signings and things like that. But all of the money from the books, all of his speaking and everything, it all goes to charity. He doesn't take that money, and it's when you're a Hall of Famer, it's a pretty substantial fee you can get.
Sure.
So it tells kind of the character of the person. He doesn't do it for fame. He doesn't do it for money. But he has a calling that he's always said it was much higher than just being a football coach or a football player. And somebody who, other than my dad, I can't say I've ever respected a man more than Tony.
Oh, that's really nice.
Yeah.
That's really nice. And it's great that you kept in touch, because it's been a long time since you played. But there's a saying, I can't remember who said it, but they said, time doesn't take away from friendship, nor does separation.
Oh,
and,
that's good.
Yeah,
That's good.
that's
Yeah,
good.
because it seems like when he comes up here and has a talk at in Eden Prairie, that big church, Grace Lutheran, I think it's called Grace Lutheran, and it's called Breakfast with the Coaches or something.
Okay.
And he brings some. They always have an award for somebody around the country that I can't remember what they title it, but it's a faith-based meeting and everything. And when he comes, then we always make sure we see each other. He comes up sometimes he'll have something to do with the Gophers. He may be, for Coach Fleck, he may be talking to the team or something. When he comes, I find out about it with his job with NBC. When he does a Viking game, we tend to get together.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah.
Have breakfast or something. Nice. Sometimes the day of the game, or sometimes we'll have something
Great.
the evening before. He lives in Tampa down there, and I've threatened that we're going to be down there. My wife and I, now when she retires, we hope to be down in Florida for a few months anyway, like most Minnesotans do, is leave.
Good snowbird. Yeah, my folks did that for a few years.
I'll visit him then, and hopefully he's there, because he might be going the other way. He told me summer times he has a place out in Oregon, so get out of the heat.
Yeah. Well, thanks for sharing that. I just want to share a couple things with you, Ron, that I found as I was preparing for this podcast. The first was from an article written by Bob Fowler from the Minneapolis Star. It was dated September 9th, 1976. It was a Thursday, just 2 days before the first game of your senior season at home against Indiana. In this article, he has quotes from both Cal Stahl, your head coach, and from you. I'll give you the Cal Stahl quote first. When Stahl was asked how you were able to set a Gopher receiving record in 1975 with 42 catches in one season, your coach, Cal Stahl, said of you, quote, "He has great athletic ability, a fine touch with his hands, and great concentration. Some receivers have 1 or 2 of those things, but Ron's a rare one who has all 3. Most important is his concentration. He's outstanding at that," end quote. which is, I thought, pretty nice. And then Bob Fowler also included a quote from you in that same article. And you said, quote, "Once a ball is in the air, I can lock myself into it and block everything else out. I don't see my teammates or the opponents, and I don't hear the fans yelling. It's like I'm deaf," end quote. But like Coach Stahl said, your concentration is outstanding. So that must have been kind of your thought when you went into it. So, and I'll read you one more quote. And this is from you. It was an article written by John Rowe, whom you mentioned earlier. It was in the Minneapolis Tribune, dated November 13th, 1976. Okay, so it's a Saturday. It was a story about the 22 seniors, and you were among them. You'd be playing your last final home game at Memorial Stadium. And here's what you told John Rowe. Quote, "I was sure we'd play in a bowl game during my 4 years. You get programmed to thinking that happiness only comes with winning. But I think we've learned something from the other end, too. Maybe we've learned more than the guys at Michigan and Ohio State. I'm sure that as we grow older, we'll realize that these have been some of the best times of our life. Then winning might not be the most important thing that we think it is now," end quote. Do you remember that quote?
Well, you know, a little, but,
Yeah,
I'm surprised that I had that I said something.
You were so smart. So
yeah,
profound.
really. I was going to say profound.
No,
a lot of times when
really well.
when I spoke to reporters and I see quotes from me back then, I just shake my head and go, "Why did I?" If my girls would read a clipping or something like that, now they go, "Dad," and I'm just going, "It was the '70s, you know."
They'll
and
get to hear this, Ron. They'll hear what you said. So,
well, but that was a profound statement, and it rings true. I'll touch on both of those things. I was able to coach a little bit at Totino Grace for 4 or 5 years, and coached the wide receivers. And I tried. It was very difficult for me to express what the concentration part of a ball is and everything, but it has to become secondary. And the main thing I try to tell receivers is that you can't be thinking. All coaches tell you that, just react because. But you can't be thinking because like I got to catch this. I never thought that. It just once the ball was in the air, it was just like I would always say, I got this in my mind. It was coming, and it was just I said it has to be positive, and you can't let anything slip in that's negative. Because the human mind can't decipher from negative and positive thoughts. And generally, if your last thought is a negative thought, that's the result you're going to get. And it was hard for me to explain what my mind was like, and I'm surprised that back then at 21 or 22 years old that I said it. But yeah, and the other statement is just it's true. I thought guys at Michigan and Ohio State, they take for granted that they're going to win, and it's kind of like, but we learned a lot more as you do, as you know, through athletics. You learn a lot of life lessons. And I'm surprised that I had that statement. But
that was a great quote.
Yeah,
great quote. Boy, I'm sure glad there's such a thing as the Star Tribune archives, because I can't find this stuff when I Google it.
Oh,
I subscribe to it, and it's worth every penny for me because I'm always researching things for podcasts. But I'm going to give you one last thing I got to kick out of this. This is from a Facebook page called Minnesota Football, posted on April 30th, 2020. And this question was asked, quote, "What 4 Gopher wide receivers do you think belong on the Mount Rushmore of Gopher football? Or is it Mount Goldymore?" Unquote. As you can imagine, there were tons and tons of responses, but there was one person who responded with these 4 Gopher wide receivers: Eric Decker, Tyler Johnson, Rick Upchurch, and the man sitting across from me, Ron Kullas.
interesting.
Yeah, you got mentioned in there. So, what do you like better, Mount Rushmore or Gopher football, or Mount Goldymore?
Goldymore, yeah. I think that's better. Yeah.
Oh, that was cute. I'm not a big Facebook guy. I don't post stuff, but I will look at stuff. And when I saw that, I thought that's cute. So. Well, you've graciously answered all my questions, Ron. I want to give you the last word, if you will. If you could just please sum up what playing football at the University of Minnesota meant to you, and maybe talk about some of the things you learned or gained from that experience that have helped you on your life's journey, or things that you've been able to pass on to your family or to your friends or other kids.
Well, like I indicated at the beginning, I always felt that it was a privilege the fact that I was able to live out a childhood dream. I didn't. I guess as a kid, I'm not growing up going, well, I'm listening to him, but I'm never going to get to play there. But I think that I was blessed, and I always look back now, and people say, well, what would you have done with this situation now with the portal and everything? And it's easy for me to say. I have it in my blood. I wouldn't leave the Gophers. I was just happy that they let me attend the university and let me play football for them.
Right.
Can't answer that honestly, because what 19, 20-year-old kid would say no to $700,000 if you go over here.
That's
but
so different now.
I'm just thankful for the opportunity. The people that I met, like Tony and things, what an impact they've had on my life. Athletics in general, I've always said, it teaches you a lot of values and things that you take into your life. So I just would say grateful. And unfortunately, some of the hits to the head, and I already forgot what the second question you had was.
There's lessons you've learned you've been able to pass on to your family or to other friends, other kids.
Yeah, probably ad nauseum, because the kids, they call me the philosopher, but I give them some. If they'll ask me a simple question, I might go on and on about. But yeah, the life's lessons. I can only say that I'm thankful for the opportunities that I had. And
well said. Well said. Well, this has been fun, Ron. It was great to get together with you. It's been a while, and share some of your stories and memories of your years of playing football for the Minnesota Gophers. And, kudos to a mutual friend of ours, Steve Durant, another Columbia Heights alum from the class of 74. Steve was the intermediary, if you will. He reached out to you so you could get my number and you could call me. We could set up this time. So thanks again to Steve.
He owes me.
Yeah. No. Well, Ron, you were able to live a dream that only a relative handful of high school football players ever get to live, and that's to play for a Big Ten or other major college football programs. So thanks again for joining me on this podcast. I really appreciate it.
Well, thank you, Bob. I appreciate it. I'm honored to, a little bit embarrassed almost, because it's a long time ago, and as I told you, but hopefully there's some people that are our age that are listening.
Well, that's what I know. There are a lot of people who want to do this, and I appreciate your time. And to our listeners, again, thanks for hanging out with me, Bob Edholm, and my guest, former Gophers receiver and former All-Big Ten receiver, Ron Kullas. We hope you'll join us for the next episode of Hanging Out with Bob, wherever you listen to your podcasts. And until then, bye.